Welcome back to Veterans Forum, a program by veterans, about veterans, for veterans and their families. I'm your co-host, Bob West, with Ray Chattery and Jerry Devlin. Jerry's off tonight. Our goal is to provide you and your family with important information by interviewing members of our community on legislation, benefits, support, and programs that will be important for you. Ray, who do we have with us today?
Bob, I'm really pleased to say that we have two very distinguished members of the Disabled American Veterans with us here tonight. I'd like to introduce first Harold Webster, who's the commander of the Disabled Veterans. Harold was voted as commander at our latest convention in June of this year, and he served as senior vice commander and junior vice commander, and he became a life member in 2003. He was assigned, he's here in Maryland, Chapter 17, which is over here in Southern Maryland. And he was also a chapter commander there from March 2008 to 2010. He served 20 some years in the, 21 years in the Army and retired as an E7, and in the Air Force. I'm sorry, I'll get it right. In the Air Force, and retired as a Master Sergeant. After retirement, he was employed by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency for 20 years as a management analyst responsible for installing information retrieval systems. And as I say, some of his duty assignments were Newfoundland, Germany, Japan, Thailand, and when he retired, he was an administrative supervisor. He was awarded the Department of Defense Joint Service Commendation Medal, Air Force Commendation Medal with 4 Oak Leaf clusters, Vietnam Service Medal, National Defense Medal. He attended Prince George's Community College and obtained an associate business degree in management, and he received a Bachelor of Science degree from the University of District of Columbia in Urban Planning and Development in 1885. A devoted father, and Commander Webster has twin daughters, a school teacher and a social worker, has 6 granddaughters and 6 grandsons. And we also have Glenn Parker. Glenn is a past department commander for the Disabled American Veterans, and he's just completed 2 years as the National Executive Committee for the 6th District, which is 5 jurisdictions. Glenn is a military veteran of 27 years in the Army, and he retired as Lieutenant Colonel. And during his military career, he held numerous assignments in continental United States, Alaska, Germany, Japan, the Republic of Vietnam. He retired in 1985 after serving with the Assistant Chief of Engineers at the Pentagon. Upon returning to civilian world, he served as financial registered representative for 16 years, selling mutual funds and insurance. He joined the GAV in 1990, where he served, as I say, from the chapter to the National Executive Committee. Currently works with the DAV Department of Mayor, serving on 3 committees, utilizing his experience as a DAV past commander. Mr. Parker holds a BA degree from Hampton University in Hampton, Virginia, and an MS degree from the George Washington University here in D.C. He graduated from the U.S. Army War College. So as you can see, we have 2 very, very distinguished disabled veterans, and who have served the state very well in their capacity.
Welcome to both of you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
So, Commander Webster, I guess we'll start with you. You might want to tell us a little bit about some of the programs that you have going on here in Maryland that are important to you for your first year here.
Well, first I want to sort of give you our mission, and that is to support disabled veterans and their families, and I think we're doing a pretty good job with that. We got a lot of medical programs. I think the medical programs in the DAV has really improved as they were a few years ago. And they have improved their claims process. The claims process has sort of moved forward a little bit faster than they have been in the past, and I think that's really a plus. There was a lot of problems and issues about claims moving too slow, but that's been slightly improved, and it's getting better every year. But our main problem right now is membership, and I guess with all the other service organizations, they lack membership. We're right now trying to put together some type of strategy to increase our membership within our chapters. But I think if we just keep at it, we're going to have successful organization.
And as far as Maryland is concerned, in comparison to the other states, Maryland seems to be always doing pretty well when it comes to service organizations. So how's the DAV rank as far as where we are nationally?
I think the DAV ranks pretty high. As you notice, there's been some changes up in the top management in the DAV, which has really been helpful. Things are moving along pretty fast, and I think that they're coming along much better than they were in the past.
Okay. Ray, you were a past commander also for the
Right.
department, and maybe you have some ideas about some of the things that Commander Webster is doing too.
Right. Well, one thing that Commander Webster mentioned, membership. The DAV has come out with a couple new very good programs. And you know, DAV doesn't have annual members. Anybody signed up for the DAV becomes a part life member, and they can start out as low as $10, $40. And they have a program now where you can sign up with your credit card, and they'll take it out monthly, whatever you agree to, until your life membership is paid up, or you could pay it quarterly and get it paid up. Now, one thing nice about the DAV is in order to get some of the older members, and 80 isn't old anymore, really. So you're 80 or older, you get a free membership in the DAV, and which is really good. But and then we have a program where with some of the younger members, like say a person like in their 50s or 60s, the membership is like $230 or $180. The department will pay $30, the chapter will pay $30, and the member pays the balance, and they get a full life membership off of the bat. And over 1/3 of their we pay for at least 1/3 of their membership just to get them on the rolls. And one very important thing about membership is you don't have to have a VA claim to be a member of the Disabled Veterans. If you were injured while you were on active duty, whether it be Vietnam or Afghanistan or Iraq or Camp Lejeune or Andrews Air Force Base or any of the other service organization bases, if you were injured or hospitalized, you're eligible for the DAV. And we have chapters in Maryland. Just go to the website, dav.org, click on chapters, put in your zip code, and it'll tell you the nearest chapter, nearest you, and we can sign you up.
And one of the big programs within the DAV, of course, are your service officer programs. And how is that going this year?
That's going really fine. We have about 5 members of our, what they call the National Service Officers that are supported by our national office. And plus we had service officers in our 20 chapters, which is really doing good. We could use more. Our National Service Officers is in charge of training these training officers in our chapters. And so we pretty much keep up to date on training the membership within the chapters.
Now locally, I know we have our own service officer, and they do some training locally. Isn't that right, Ray?
Well, that's what what Harold was talking about. Is every February, normally in February, the DAV service office from Baltimore comes down, because every chapter and department service officer has to be certified every year. And even some of the American Legion and VFW service officers attend just to get the experience. And the NSOs that Harold's talking about is in the Federal Building in Baltimore. And one thing nice is that between the department and the Chapter 7 here in Bowie, we bought them scanners, so that when a person gets done now, they're going paperless. They're scanning the paperwork in, and it's cutting anywhere from 3 to 6 months off of the waiting time and getting processed.
And this is one of the benefits that are available to our local veterans. If they have a claim or believe that they're entitled to a claim with the VA, they can stop by the DAV, speak to the service officer who will help facilitate the process through the VA bureaucracy. Isn't that correct, Ray?
Yes, The number of the DAV is on the screen, 301-464-8899, and they can give you the service officer's phone number. In fact, Jerry George, who's our DAV and Marine Corps League Service officer, was on the program twice here within the last 6 months and had very good information, especially with the Marines and the Camp Lejeune water situation, which is very serious, which was a very serious situation here.
You might want to just refresh our members what that's about, because it affects our Marine veterans.
Yes, down in Camp Lejeune from the early 50s until the early 80s, there was a lot of dry cleaning institutions that were dumping their water into the ground, and it penetrated the water systems there at Camp Lejeune. And there's been a lot of cancers coming out of, and even the children of the Marines there are being affected. And you can also get that on the website.
So it's really important, again, to keep your records up to date with the VA. If you were in the service and you're not, you don't have a VA number, you should at least get a VA number, because in the future you may have a claim, and you need to have your DD-214 readily available. And if you're a family member, you want to make sure where that DD-214 is also.
Right.
Is there any other programs besides the service officer program that's important to the DAV? Because I noticed that you have vans that go around and you pick up veterans, and there's a lot of services that you provide that maybe some of our viewers aren't aware of.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. The van program is very useful and lucrative. We try to keep our vans up to date so they can service our veterans to and from these medical facilities, and so far it's been working pretty good, but we do have problems getting drivers at times, and that's been a problem, but we seem somehow to get drivers, you know. But it's working real good. I think we can get vans using when we ever need them, and that doesn't seem to be a problem, but it's been working out fine.
Now, I know every once in a while, Ray, a van comes over and it helps people get signed up for the VA. Is that
Well, they have the mobile service unit that goes around, and most of the veterans get a letter from the DAV to let them know where the vans are. Twice a year they come here to Bowie. The last time they went to the Bowie State College because they were trying to reach out to the younger veterans over there at the Bowie State. And but as I say, they visit the Harley Davidson and the Ford dealers have partnered with the DAV, and a lot of the Ford dealers and motorcycle shops, Harley Davidson shops, hold these let the vans park on their lots in order for the people to come and get serviced.
Now, also, as part of the DAV, I noticed you support the Red Cross and their blood drives, because you have those every once in a while too.
Yeah.
They're a local.
And we try to get the four organizations together on that.
Okay. Is there anything else that the DAV kind of associates with or networks with organizations like the Red Cross to?
Well, we have our seminars that we invite the other service organization, which has been helpful, but I can't think of nothing in just at this time where we actually join with them to get anything unless Ray has anything that.
Is it the Golden Corral program going to be this year?
Yes, the Golden Corral program is going to be in effect, but we don't know how long that's going to be in effect. I think National wants to really cut out the Golden Corral program because they claim that the Golden Corral is not living up to the original contract, and they're getting too many calls into National. States are calling in because of that problem, but we don't know how long that's going to be.
That'll be on November the 11th, though.
You're right, November the 11th. That's when they're.
The veterans can go and get a free meal. And it's a program.
It normally falls the Monday.
It's always on a Monday.
Right.
After
It'll be,
Veterans Day.
Well, Veterans Day is on a Tuesday this year, so it'll be the following Monday, or it'll be the day before.
That's a good question on that. Let's see.
So.
Well,
Well, one
Anyhow.
thing we just got done doing is we have our Forget Me Not program, but unfortunately in the DAV, the Forget Me Not program is similar to the American
Yeah.
Legion and the VFW's Buddy Poppy program, where they have the Buddy Poppy program all year round. We only can do it in September in Maryland. And we do very well on that. And all of the money that is raised from this Forget Me Not program goes service to veterans. It doesn't buy one paper clip or or any kind of administrator. Everything is service for veterans. And with the money that we raised here in Bowie, we've been paying for the Christmas dinner for the Wounded Warriors at Bethesda, and also the cookout that they would have out there for the Wounded Warriors. So that's a very direct hospital program that the Forget Me Not program here in Bowie goes to.
There are a couple more programs that the DAV is participating in addition to the mobile service offices that we've already talked about. Information seminars where national services officers come together and invite veterans to come in to get counseling and have their claims worked on, and those are available to veterans. And we talked about the Golden Corral Military Appreciation Night. This is held the Monday following Veterans Day. Military Appreciation Monday is a salute to military heroes by the Golden Corral.
That'll be November 17th this year.
Yeah, that's a good program. It's Monday following the Labor Day. I mean the Veterans Day. I'm sorry, excuse me. Then we have we also participate with Major League Baseball. We have umpires that come in and they visit the patients in the VA medical centers. They sign photographs and autographs and shake hands with the veterans in the hospitals, VA medical centers, I should say. Then we have the Winter Sports Clinic, which is very popular. This is known as the Miracle on the Mountainside. The National Disabled American Veterans Winter Sports Clinic is a world leader in adaptive winter sports instruction for U.S. military and active duty service people. That's a very popular program. And another one is the air shows. We go to air shows and they bring in the Pancetta, which is the World War II B-25 that comes in. And that's the airplane that John Doolittle flew from the aircraft carrier in the Pacific and first dropped bombs on Japan during the war. And we have that plane that people come to see at the air shows. And those are just some of the programs that we're participating in right now.
Now, one thing I know is very close to your heart, Glenn, is our midwinter that they have in February, where they bring all the state commanders and adjutants into D.C. and then they go on the Hill, and the national commander addresses the Armed Services Committees.
That's right.
And you're very active with that.
Yeah, they're going to have the midwinter. Our midwinter conference is always in February. This year, the midwinter conference will be from February 22nd to the 25th, and on the Tuesday after the convention opens on the 22nd, we go to Capitol Hill. National Commander gives a presentation before the House and Senate Veterans Committees, and bring all the issues and the things that we support, and they really tell them, here's what we need, here's what we need. And along with other information that we leave with them, they know exactly where the DAV stand. And then the DAV also partner with other organizations. It's not only where we stand, but it's where the VFW, AMVETS, and we all get together. We all have common goals. It's like we have an independent budget that lays out what we see as money the VA needs in order for the health care. And that is an independent budget that's put together by the Disabled American Veterans, Paralyzed Veterans of America, AMVETS, and the VFW.
American Legion, I think.
No, American Legion is not in that. They're not a part of that, no. But that's available to anybody. They go online, they go to dav.org, they can go online and read that information. There's also a thumb drive that people can get to see the entire breakdown of this of this independent budget. That's what veterans organizations see as what the VA needs in order to take care of veterans. And because we are fighting for advanced funding, we're fighting to get that advanced funding, and we had advanced funding. And when the government was shut down, the VA was not affected like some of the other organizations because we already had the appropriations laid out, and so the VA continued to operate. And we continue to push that program.
You know, now as your role as commissioner for Charlotte Hall, the home at Charlotte Hall,
Yes.
we were pretty well aware that the facility is almost 90% plus occupied.
Yes.
And women are also able to stay at Charlotte Hall.
Yes, right.
And a lot of people are unaware of what those what the requirements are at times.
Well, we have spouses there. There's over 400 residents there now, just about the capacity. And they're doing well. They're doing well there.
Now, we were talking about earlier that there's some federal land that may be set aside already with the possibility of sometime in the future adding another home like Charlotte Hall because of the growing need by older veterans.
Yes, I'm told by the director of the VA medical healthcare system, Baltimore, that all of the building they're doing in Fort Howard, that they've set aside 10 acres of land, that sometime in the future they could build another veterans home on that location. And in addition to that, and going back to Charlotte Hall, we have in the works now, in the planning, they've set aside land down at Charlotte Hall to build another community-based outpatient clinic. You know, the VA is now going into community-based outpatient clinics to put medical care closer to veterans. There is a community-based outpatient clinic at Charlotte Hall now, but they've taken a part of the home, a wing of the home, to put that in. So once this community-based outpatient clinic is built, it's going to be freestanding away from the main building, and that's in the works right now. I can't tell you exactly when when that will be occupied, but it's somewhere around 2015 if it doesn't slip, and so we're looking forward to that.
So they've already had the groundbreaking for that building?
Well, I don't know about groundbreaking, but the plans are in process. Mm-hmm. But we do have one that some people may not be aware of. We did open up a community-based outpatient clinic down on Allentown Road across from Andrews Air Force Base. That's fully operational now. Mm-hmm. So veterans needing medical care can go there and won't have to go all the way into town, into D.C. on Irving Street to get treatment.
They also have one at Fort Meade and one in Greenbelt.
We just opened one not too long ago at Fort Meade, and it's going. It's very strong, very popular, and of course there's one in Greenbelt. Now also in Maryland, there's also a community-based outpatient clinic at Fort Detrick.
Right.
That's operated by the West Virginia Medical Center, VA Medical Center. It's at Fort Detrick. And so there are a number of CBOCs in the budget. I'm talking about nationwide that's coming in.
Right.
So, and those, you know, that some people don't want to go into town. Some people can't get into town, and that, and I shouldn't say town, into Washington, D.C., or say Baltimore. And they're working out very well.
You know, the other thing, too, is we're getting into the Maryland legislative year, which will start right after the 1st of January, and we're all members of the Joint Veterans Committee. So do we have some legislation we can talk about that's coming up in the next legislative year that's important to all of us veterans?
We have an idea of what will come up because we kind of put in the same legislation every year because we tend to get turned down every year. And we're making some progress. So what needs to happen now, those of us that have ideas and there are things that we want to do to bring to the forefront, we need to get with our legislators right now and tell them about that, because a bill can't get introduced unless it's introduced by our representatives and senators. So we have to get with them and say, here's what we need, and get these things working, because if you don't have it there in time, it won't become a bill, because nobody will introduce it in time to become a bill.
And it also has to come out of committee. The biggest thing that what we're trying to do is, right now, military retired pay is exempt up to $5,000. We're trying to get it raised to $10,000. But as Jerry Devlin always says, we are a balanced budget state, and it's very difficult. If you give someone a cut, you have to raise something else. Well, what Senator Peters did this year with another lady from the House, I don't remember her name, they got it to where they'd be raised $5,000 for veterans 62 and over who really need it, because they're the ones who are normally retired again, getting ready to draw Social Security, and they need the extra tax break. Well, we had one of our other service organizations that they wanted all or nothing, and we ended up with nothing. Now that bill passed the Senate. In fact, even the other bill passed the Senate the last 3 years, 47 to nothing. But we can't get it out of the House and Ways Committee. So if we can get it out of the House Ways and Means Committee, we may have a chance at this one that Senator Peters is going to put in again, about 62 and over. You go from there and you work from there. You get a little bit of each time, and it won't be any problem, because the fiscal note for that isn't as great as it would be for the other one.
Well, Ray, it's hard to believe, but our 30 minutes is up. And I want to thank Commissioner Webster for taking the time to be here and tell us about the Department of Maryland, the DAV, and certainly for past department commander and now commissioner for the Charlotte Hall, Glenn Parker, who's been our guest before, and hope we didn't rake him over the coals too bad this time, and we hope both of you gentlemen will come back. And we hope you have enjoyed our program and learned some important information to you and your family. Now we ask you to get involved with your local veterans. It's the only way that we can stay strong and support the veterans who need the benefits that they have earned. So stop by the American Legion, stop by the DAV. If you're a family member, you're also very welcome at either one of those facilities. Find out about the benefits that you have earned. More importantly, we'd like you to join our organizations. But whatever you decide, it's time for you to come forward so that you can be counted. Our numbers are lacking, and we certainly need more membership, because membership counts. And again, we want to thank all of you for watching Veterans Forum, and have a good evening.